College football is in full swing right now. Week 7 of college football 2023 is giving us all the entertainment that we could want. Earlier today, Oregon, Washington, they got together, number 8, number 7. It was a lot of fun. It was a blast. And, Washington ended up winning the ball game, walking a field goal kicker out there for Oregon to try to tie the game up. They ended up losing. And what a great game. Both teams has a lot to play for. My theory with them is the same theory that I have with Texas and Oklahoma, where I said, if you lose this game by 7 points or less, you still have a lot to play for. Now, you can't go out and lay a golden turd against some team that is basically the equivalent of the Red Hat Ladies or the Blind Children of Idaho. You can't go blow it after that and then and be shocked at people not believing you should be in the college football playoff. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't even be able to spell it at that point. But that type of game, both teams has a lot to play for. It was a very entertaining game. Currently, right now, I have 2 screens over here I'm watching. Notre Dame, I picked Notre Dame to win this game over Southern Cal, even though Southern Cal's undefeated. Notre Dame's already lost 2 games. Losing the game to Ohio State like they did on the last play, you're kind of like, okay, that was a really good game. But getting beat by a Louisville team who, by the way, right now, in the fourth quarter, is not doing so well against a 1-4 Pittsburgh team. And by the way, if you don't know it, I don't like Pittsburgh. I'm quite sure Pittsburgh, you have some wonderful fans, but I encountered some of your worst fans when just on a job that I had, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I'll never forget that. And so I'm pulling against you, Pittsburgh, but right now Pittsburgh is winning the game against Louisville, 31-21. Louisville having that big game against Notre Dame last week, just absolutely dominating them. And right now, it's 4th down and 6. I'll go ahead and take you to the Louisville game. 4th down and 6, 6 minutes, 16 seconds left. Louisville lines up, bunch formation, snaps the ball, has pressure on him, throws the ball, passes incomplete. Is there a flag? Nope. That is crazy. Hey, for anyone who just joined me, thank you so much for hopping on in here. Grafnar, my old buddy, Grafnar, he's a member of the Not Bobby Durkin channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Tyler Brown, I doubt you're the Tyler Brown that plays for Clemson, but I'm glad you're here. Turner Kirby said, I turned off the South Carolina game because I saw they were up 10 with 5 minutes remaining. LOL. That was a rookie move, my friend. You know you never do that with the South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina ended up blowing a 14-point lead against Florida, and they lost. So, let me see. My old buddy Ted Jackson's in here. Ted, it's good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, supposedly, Pittsburgh just fumbled the ball. They're looking at that right now. The Notre Dame game is on. So let's talk about what has happened so far and what is going on as we speak. I'll give you a quick score rundown of games that's currently going on. They gave the ball back to Pittsburgh. They said he was down. He never, yeah. They're trying to run the ball, just trying to run the game out. Pittsburgh's most likely going to win this game, but we will see. So right now, Louisville is losing to Pittsburgh 31-21. Arizona is absolutely spanking number 19, Washington State, who's 4-1. They're beating them 37-6 with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Arizona has had some close games this season. They played really close and I believe went into overtime with Southern Cal a couple of weeks ago, or if that timeline is right. And then they had another close game. They lost it. Arizona, a good friend of mine went to school at Arizona, and he said there's a reason they call us cardiac cats for a reason, and the idea is that they just always play close games and end up blowing it. And so you end up with a heart attack. In this one, there's no heart attack tonight. They're dropping 31 points worth of a lead on Washington State. So unless something crazy happens over the next 11 minutes, guess what, my friends? Arizona will win that ball game. Right now, LSU is in a commanding lead, 34-16 over Auburn with just the beginning of the fourth quarter. As I said earlier, now Southern Cal finally scored a touchdown. It's shocking. Notre Dame right now is leading Southern Cal 24-13. Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions the first half. I'm going to pause right there. This is the thing about talking about sports. When you're talking about coaches, you're talking about players, you're talking about administration, you can get personal really quick. I mean, if I'm Caleb Williams' family and I, for some reason, ran across my video, they would probably say, that's a nobody in his bonus room. Good call. But anything that I say that's critical about him, which would be true, positive or negative, could be seen as a personal attack. This is not a personal attack on anyone, and that's for any time I talk about anyone. But I'm going to tell you the truth. If anyone burns a first-round draft pick on Caleb Williams, first overall pick, I think you're going to be greatly let down. Well, who else we got to pick? I guess get someone in free agency. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm not impressed with Caleb Williams. There's things with his persona that I have criticized, and people has come out of the woodwork to tell me that I'm wrong. That is fine. I have been watching football for a very, very long time, and I have a pretty good eye. I'm wrong sometimes, but not a lot. When I'm looking at talent, this guy, I always said that Cam Newton would never win a national championship, or he would never win a Super Bowl, excuse me. And I was told, "Oh, you're crazy." And I was like, "There's just something about him. He is not going to do it. When the pressure is turned up and a defense comes after him, he is going to turn." What? He got him to the Super Bowl and he got his head ripped off. And folks, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I see the same thing with Caleb Williams. I don't trust Caleb Williams. I don't believe that he is a first round. Where he should be picked is about the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. That's where he should be picked. You're just going to waste a draft pick, and I'm sorry about that. Speaking of that, Miami and North Carolina, the next guy who would be talked about, Drake May. Drake May and the North Carolina Tar Heels, they're undefeated for the first time, 5-0, excuse me, 5-0 for the first time since like 1997. I remember that year. I remember that 1997. I think it was the 1997 team. They had Oscar Davenport, L.C. Stevenson. They had Chris Keldorf, who was actually playing quarterback, and he and Oscar Davenport would switch. They had Leon Johnson at running back. I mean, this was a who's who of North Carolina football. Right now, they are struggling with Miami. Miami has the lead, 17-14 right now. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, folks. This is a mess. I mean, this game right here, it's just a mess of a game. Credit, and I'm looking at the stats right here. I don't have my glasses. Tyler Van Dyke has not been sacked once tonight. Drake May has been sacked 4 times. He has Tez Walker. The NCAA stopped being stopped holding to their procedures and their belief that they're doing something good by keeping this guy from playing football. It's just ridiculous. But hey, before I go any farther, I do want to tell you about 2 things. First of all, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's free. If you want to join, it's so little per month you won't even miss it. There's a join button below the video. Unless you're on an iPhone, you won't see a join button going another way. 2 sponsors. I have a second sponsor with a giveaway. I want to go with the first one. 4puttcarts.com is a snack and beverage cart service. Touchdown Notre Dame, by the way. Notre Dame just scored on a long pass. USC looks absolutely it's hilarious. Anyway, back to fourputtcarts.com. The link is below. They're a snack and beverage cart service for golf courses as well as special events. So if you have a special event, you need to call them out there. If you're a golf course and you don't have cart service, you need to get them out there. If you're a golf course and you have cart service, but you have a tournament getting ready to fire off, let me tell you this. I used to work at a golf course at the clubhouse, and I can tell you when tournaments come around, you get overwhelmed. You need to call them, reach out to them, let them know that you heard about them from me. Next up, there's another one. It's a friend of mine who a lot of you always ask me, where did you get that massive vintage tiger print? And I've told you he made this one prototype and he would never make one this size again unless something changes. I have the small version of this here. The Sawmill Shop. The link is below. Sawmill Shop. He is going to be giving away 3 or 4 of these. 3 or 4 of these. So it's just like this. It's just much smaller. But it's really great to have in your office, to have in your and maybe your one of your places you keep your Clemson gear. And we're figuring out how we're going to give it, what the giveaway is. Is it best comments? Is it going to be, whatever it may be? I don't know at this point, but we're trying to figure it out. But we're going to be giving away 3 or 4 of these, and we're going to cover the shipping, everything to you. So, but hit him up and let him know that you heard about the Sawmill Shop from me. Let your wife check it out. I will tell you, she'll love everything as much. You'll love so many things, and so check them out. Diving back in. Let me see. Got some people in here. Nicholas Powell was talking about UNC. I look at that. Ted Jackson's in here. Bunch of people's in here. So I'm going to get back to this. Everybody, thanks for joining. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tez Walker just scored a touchdown for North Carolina. Let's see what the score is now for Tez Walker and the boys. Yeah, it's not. It hasn't updated it, but I just watched the touchdown for North Carolina. So North Carolina just scored a touchdown. Tez Walker, nice long play, and yeah, they're. This is a back and forth game. Moving forward, Kentucky and Missouri's playing right now. Both teams lost their very first game last week. Missouri barely lost to LSU. Kentucky really lost to Georgia. And this is, me and my brother-in-law was talking about this. He's a big Tennessee fan. But this is true. No matter, I don't care if you're a Tennessee fan, if you're a, Idaho Vandals fan. I don't care. This is the truth. Every flipping year, Kentucky does this. They win like 4 or 5 games in a row. They might win against a decent team, and suddenly Kentucky is the greatest team to be. Man, they're going to contend for their division, and then they get their head chopped off. And they do this every flipping year, and everybody is so gullible to believe it. And transparently, touchdown Pitt. I cannot believe they just did what they did. Pitt just put Louisville away, so Louisville's about to get their first loss. Hate that for Louisville. I hate it for them. Hate it for them. So that will be one loss for Louisville. And you know what? That's kind of sad. Even if you hate Notre Dame, I'm watching Notre Dame right now. They're up 31 to put my glasses on, 31-13 with 4 minutes left against Southern Cal. And folks, I can tell you straight up just by watching them. Pitt's now up by, it's 37-21. He hit the PAT. They're up 38-21 with 3 minutes left in the game. They're going to win the game. They're going to win the game. I haven't been watching this game the entire time I've been out tonight. I've been keeping up with some games. Notre Dame and Southern Cal. But if Louisville was going to blow it like this, why beat the crap out of Notre Dame? I tell you this, the stage got too big for them. The stage got too big for them. That's all I can say. Slim Shady Canes is in here. Your boys are playing awfully competitive right now. Tez Walker's in there. I just muted myself and told them, please shut the door. Thank you, buddy. Are you going, Not? All right. You can't come over here. I'm on here. I love you, buddy. All right. He's in his PJs. I try to keep my try to keep a little privacy with the children. I'll put it that way. There's a bunch of weirdos on the internet. 21-17, North Carolina is leading right now. Tez Walker. That is his what? Second touchdown of the evening? He would have had way more touchdowns this season had the NCAA not did what they always do, and that's mess up everything. I mean, it's just true. Nicholas Powell raises a great question. Wonder if Louisville falls apart after this loss. Today, I don't know if you saw, but Syracuse got loss number 3 in a row. Syracuse came into the Clemson game undefeated. And all I said was Syracuse, I mean, they had a tough road ahead. Would they do what they did last year? What they did last year was they came in top 15, and then they, including losing to Clemson, which they had to bring in Cade because DJ was not doing the job. And they brought him in. They brought Cade in. Folks, give me 1 second. We're trying to get my son to go to bed. He was in bed, and he came in here, and his mom was trying to get him to go lay down. And he was sitting right here looking at me like, I know that you were to where you can't do too much right now. And I was muted the mic so I could tell him, go to bed and listen to your mom. But the truth is, going back to God, I can't remember which game I was on because he just kind of threw me. But Syracuse dropped their third game today. There we go. Syracuse dropped their third game today. So last year, Clemson was their first loss. And counting that, they dropped 5 in a row. I had a bunch of Syracuse people coming on here. I know you love your team and blah, 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 blah. But that's the one thing about being part of a team or being part of a family or being friends with somebody. You are so doggone blind. You have no idea what reality is. And that's why a lot of Clemson fans despise me. That's why a lot of Clemson media despises me. I get on here and I tell you what I believe is going to be the truth. And a lot of times it comes to be. Like, I still believe Clemson's leaving the ACC because it's a business decision. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I've been way more right. And unfortunately, I've been way more right about Clemson and the trajectory of the team. Got Mr. You Mad Bro is in here. One of my all-time, one of my first subscribers on the Bobby Durkins channel. Glad you're in here. Folks, real quick, if you want to support the Bobby Durkins channel on a monthly basis, there is a join button below the video. You can support the channel on a monthly basis. It's so cheap, you won't even miss it. I promise you. Miami just fumbled the football, and North Carolina's got it. It's now 2 turnovers for Miami. That would be incredible if you want to support the show. UCLA right now, and Oregon State's playing. Our old quarterback DJ is out there living it up. He's up 23-10. They're 5-1 overall. Jonathan Smith can coach football. Oregon State, he's out there coaching football. Can you imagine what it is like to have to recruit to Oregon State? You have Oregon within, an hour drive of you, if not less. You're having to try to bring kids to the state of Oregon. You're having to recruit against Southern Cal. You're having to recruit against Oregon. Washington can draw people. You're trying. I mean, you're trying to. What Jonathan Smith has done out there, it makes you wonder what guys like, I don't know, in Clemson, South Carolina is doing right now. When you hire 5 positions coach on the offensive side who's never coached at this level. And they have 40 or 54 to 5-star players. It has to make you stop and think for a second. Exactly what are they doing if this guy who's out there at Oregon State can get their results? Jonathan Smith can coach football. Right now, Duke without Riley Leonard. I'm pretty sure they're without Riley Leonard. They're winning 17-3 against NC State. By the way, NC State doesn't look right. NC State does not look right. Georgia and Vanderbilt played today. Georgia won 37-20. Carson Beck, 261, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Michigan throttled Indiana. Ohio State throttled Purdue. Alabama almost lost to Arkansas. They do not look impressive. They do not look impressive whatsoever. It's so sad. I mean, to sit there and you go, well, Brian, why is it so sad? I hate Alabama. Okay, that's fine. I do ask you, what is your personal team doing? I know for my team, we look like we're falling down a mountain. I mean, my question to Clemson fans, with all the talent that we have on the team and all the talent we're going to lose, it's going to graduate this year. All the experience that's going to go out the door. Someone's going to declare for the NFL, probably Will Shipley. He might come back. I don't know. He hasn't had an amazing year. But you start losing this talent. How do you supposed to fix something that really didn't need much fixing? It just needed tweaking. Like hire some experienced position coach on the offensive side of the ball. But hey, look, you can keep offering excuses for the moves that's not being made or being made right now. But I'm just telling you, I've watched enough teams fall from grace. Look at Florida State. Look at Texas. Texas was great for a while. And for the last decade, they've been terrible. They might have a bright spot here or there, but consistency, there's this consistent as a heart murmur. Be very careful what you're taking up for. Alabama, it's kind of odd to see them falling off. I'm not going to say that they're falling off. As long as they have Nick Saban, they will continue to do their thing. Unless he just gets dementia or something. He doesn't know how to coach football. Utah won. Utah won against California. I called that they would win. I thought it would be a little closer game. They held California to 14 points. They're now 5-1. They won 34-14. Penn State basically played a high school team today. They won. Tennessee played Texas A&M, won the ball game. Tennessee is now 5-1. Texas A&M is now 4-3. I very well doubt the people, the boosters, the fans, the major decision makers, is paying Jimbo Fisher all that money to be 4-3. Yet again, I doubt it. Have a bunch of people in here. Going through here. A lot of people. Johnny Williams, kind words. I love your show. Well, thank you, Johnny Williams. I appreciate it. Mr. You Madbra says, give this man a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Bunch of people in here. Nicholas Powell. Let me see. What did you say, my friend? Brian, what is your grade for Clemson offense and defense? Most on 105.5 were being orange colored glasses, giving the offense a B minus and a defense an A. For those of you who do not know who 105.5 is, that is the flagship station of Clemson football. So if you're in here, especially in the upstate of South Carolina, of course you can listen to radio stations anywhere online. But if you're here in the upstate, you know that is the flagship station for Clemson football, and I have no beef with anyone, but I don't know who gave the offense a B minus. I get what they're going for. It's because of yardage. In the Duke game, Clemson ran for over 200. They passed for over 200. They lost by 3 touchdowns. They turned the ball over twice inside the 3-yard line. Well, that was game 1. Okay, all right. We'll play that game. What did they do against Wake Forest? I don't care if you have 900 yards. You don't score touchdowns? What was the final score on that? Would anybody like to give me the final score? Leave 105.5 out of it. But even though that's the question, I'm just going to ask you directly. Forget what everybody else says. When they barely beat Wake Forest on homecoming, 17 to what, 12? Was that a B minus effort? And for some of you out there who just eat, sleeps, breathes Clemson football so much, you love it so much, it's kind of like some old woman who takes up for her 5 loser children. One is a thief. 2 of them can't stop cheating on their spouse. 1 of them is in jail because they're a repeat offender of drug dealing, and 1 is a murderer. Those are my babies, and I love them. Ma'am, you should love them. They're your children, but they're all terrible criminals. Don't be like her when it comes to Clemson football. Tell the flipping truth. The truth is, it is sad that Clemson has so much talent on that football team, especially on the offense. There's still a lot of talent on that. And we're 17 to 12 against Wake Forest. It'd be different if they were undefeated and they were just so lackadaisical in that game. They looked terrible on offense. I had 400, 500 yards. What was the flipping score? The scoreboard is all that matters. And you need to get that through your head. I am so sick and tired of having to explain this to people. I've told this story 4 or 5 times. Here goes 5 or 6. I used to play my dad in NCAA college football, the EA Sports game. Oh, I love that game. And then we keep hearing that it's coming back, and it just keeps getting pushed out and pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. But my dad, he would play me in EA Sports, and I don't care what team he had. I was one of those guys that when I coached defense, I would give up 500 yards in a game, but I'd only give up 3 touchdowns. And I'd beat him by 2 or 3 touchdowns. He'd go, every game. And my dad's a smart man. He would get so emotional and wrapped up. He'd go, look, but I had 500 yards against you. And I said, but look at the score. I beat you by 3 touchdowns. I beat you by 4 touchdowns. The only thing anybody gives a care about is the scoreboard, because that determines wins and losses. I give Clemson's offense a C for the season based on the scoreboard. And please don't count Florida Atlantic and Charleston Southern. Count the real games. It's terrible. It's terrible. Clemson's defense, I give a B. I give a B. You know, when you go into a game against Duke, and I know it was the first game of the year, but remember, Clemson has a lot more talent on the team than Duke does. That should matter. If it doesn't matter, let's just play this game real quick. Let's play a sick little game right here. Let's imagine if Clemson. Let's just imagine right now that Clemson fell apart, and for the next 10 years, the best recruit they could get is a 3-star player. Do you know what the number one gripe would be among Clemson fans? We don't have the talent on the team. We need to get some most talented players. Folks, it's time to use your thinking brain. We have those talented players now. We have talented players everywhere. We have a lot of talent. Talent is not an issue at Clemson. Coaching is an issue at Clemson. And I've been calling this out for a very long time. I'm talking about coaching at all levels. There is a problem in the vast majority. Eat up through Clemson. It's crazy. Go Tigers. Something is up. Offense looks like last year's offense. There are some similarities. There's some differences, but there's similarities. And this week, and by the way, I'm going to bring up this publication. I have no association with them. I have no ill feelings towards them. But I've told you this before, that in the Clemson community, in the Clemson media community, they have been told to stay away. Some of them, not all of them, some of them has been told to stay away from me, and they've been told to stay away from Pigskin Pete, period. You know why? We're their competition. I'm just a guy in my bonus room who loves Clemson football and decided to start first a channel as Bobby Durkins, hence the name Not Bobby Durkins, talk about college football and have fun. By the way, North Carolina just scored another touchdown. Looks like Miami is going down for a second week in a row. This would be worthwhile for if they lose to North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina's a good team. You lose to Georgia Tech off a poor coach. That's not poor coach. That's terrible coaching. Remember, anytime you hold your middle finger up to the ABCs of football, it always gets offended and bites you. Was that Ted's Walker again? Third touchdown tonight. He would have had a lot more had the NCAA got out of the way. But anyway, here's what I'm trying to say. And I was saying this earlier. But Clemson Insider highlighted that this week on the Dabo Swinney call-in show that a caller asked Dabo Swinney if Garrett Riley is on a short leash. Dabo said no, and then went to explain, by the time he finished explaining, that yes, indeed, he is on a short leash. Anybody who has any comprehension skills, you're not drunk. Heck, I know people would be drunk that could read through that. If you don't have some type of disability that deals with your comprehension, you would be able to read through, no, he's not on a short leash. Yes, he is on a short leash. Well, Brian, the reason that the coach gave was he's a new player, and he's with a new inexperienced quarterback, and he had Max Duggan was benched last year in favor of Chandler Morris, Chad Morris's son. He got hurt, and Max Duggan had to come out and play for Garrett Riley. And so, folks, I'm just telling you, after reading that article, I don't know what to believe. For those of you who can't watch the game, there's about, let me put my glasses back on, 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter. North Carolina's up 28-17 over Miami. Miami has the ball second and 11, just threw a quick shot, about a 5-yard pass out. After he juked backwards, it was only about a 3-yard gain. It's crazy. Let's check some other scores. Today, Oklahoma State beat Kansas 39-32. Oh, here's one I totally got off of the commentary. Tennessee beat Texas A&M 20-13. Here's the thing I was going to say. I was talking about Jumbo Fisher and just how they're not going to pay that much money for mediocrity. They shouldn't, by the way. The way these coaches are paid, I don't care if someone makes a lot of money. I really don't. A lot of people in society, they always play this game. Well, I want it to be fair and everything. You're always going to have to chop the legs out from under someone to make sure that everyone has an equal outcome. I'm sorry. You are. Because, like, imagine if me and Michael Jordan went out to go play basketball back in his prime. He's 6'6", plays basketball all the time. He has a God-given gift. Plus, he has the work ethic. For he and I to have the same outcome, you would basically have to go kidnap him, lock him in a room, and not let him play basketball so I would be as good as he is. I don't believe in that. That's wrong. But using some common sense here, they need to restructure how these guys are paid to where they have incentive to win and not incentive to sit on their hands and hire whoever they want as some type of positions coach. And A&M is 4-3 with a ton of talent on that team. They have a massive amount of talent on that football team. And it looks like Notre Dame is running the ball back for a touchdown on a kick return. Let's see if there's a flag. No. That is crazy. Was that a kickoff return? Folks, all you need to know is Notre Dame is up 37-20 over Southern Cal with 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. There's no flag. What I was going to say about Tennessee is I'm trying to figure out what the score is here for Notre Dame. I saw Joe Milton. Joe Milton is 6'4", 240, 250 pounds. Can run like a machine, can throw a ball 900 yards without even thinking. It was 3rd down and 2. He's rolling out to his right. He's cascading towards out of bounds. Yeah, that was a kick return for a touchdown. Southern Cal, I guess you need to raid the transfer portal now. More. And instead of making a definitive decision, which if any of you are decent at math, you know that a person who is 6'4", they can get 2 yards decently easy. I'm barely 5'9". I'm right under 5'9". It would be kind of tougher for me versus this guy at 6'4" who's an athlete. He keeps running out of bounds, running around, indecisive. This is like 5th or 6th year in college football. Indecisive. Throws the ball away. That's what I mean. You may have all the greatest athletic ability in the world, but if you do not have the skills to decide what decision to make, you don't have it. You don't have what it takes to be a championship player. Got some great comments here. Talking about Shipley, talking about Martha. Got John sitting in here. He's a member of the Not Bobby Durkins channel. Got Halo, my friend. Part of the Not Bobby Durkins channel. Have 40 people in here watching right now. My friend, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have both games on right now. I have North Carolina on the right. I have USC and Notre Dame on the left. Tar Heels. Oh, my God. Nice big run for North Carolina. There's a flag that's coming back. That's holding, if I've ever seen it. North Carolina's up 28-17. Notre Dame is just whipping Southern Cal 38-20. Almost 8 minutes left in the game there. Yes, tonight the Gamecocks did lose, John Setton. The Gamecocks were up by, I believe, 14 points, and they somehow blew it to a Florida team that's not great. A Florida team that I don't know why they hired Billy Napier. Billy Napier is not a bad football coach, but he is not. Let's put it this way. Florida could have hired a higher profile coach who would be giving them more results than Billy Napier. Billy Napier is not a bad football coach. He'll make, even at a small school, he'll make more money than most all of us watching this. Okay? Don't feel sorry for Billy. Billy probably get pissed and say something towards me and say I'm an idiot with a cut on my forehead that looks ridiculous. And he'd be right about the cut on my forehead, not the idiot part. But I can tell you that how I'm not an idiot is all I have to do is look at his record and look what he's doing with the talent that you can get at Florida. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that Florida could have made a hire that would get them better results. I don't know why they don't do this. Once again, bringing you back to all these administrations with people who are really smart, making hires that you and I, as just simple people, would look and say, that's a terrible hire, because it is a terrible hire. History proves it's a terrible hire. I was listening to someone the other day who was talking about trading stocks. It was a brilliant person, just a great story. I won't get into all of that. But he said something that was really providential. I would almost say providential is not the right word. It was just really powerful, but it was really simple. He said one of the biggest problems with people when they're investing in certain stocks and trying to read the charts and so on, he said, is people starts trying to read into it so much that they start seeing stuff that's not there. And you know what? That makes me think of college football. You have these people who comes out here and says, you know, I'm Professor so-and-so, and now I'm the AD, and now I'm this, that, and the other, and I'm really smart, and I know what I'm doing, and, you know, I'm way smarter than all of you people. I can see that this guy right here who hasn't proven that much at this level should be coaching this. You could say, well, didn't that happen to Dabo Swinney? Let's pause right there and ask this. Who was the one who pointed that out, though? Terry Don Phillips was the one who hired Dabo Swinney. He hired Les Miles. And I know Les Miles didn't just burn the woods up at LSU, but he still won a national championship. Some people do have a knack for it when other people don't. Most people don't have a knack for fill in the blank. But my point here is, I bet you that if Terry Don was down at Florida right now, he would have hired someone different. If Terry Don was in charge of hiring position coaches on Clemson's football team, especially on the offensive side, he'd look at Swinney and go, giving one guy who's a first-year coach at this level a chance is okay. Giving an entire position staff on the offensive side of the ball that chance, Swinney, you know better, dude. You know better. You know better. Got some great comments in here. Nick Powell, he did chew up the grass. North Carolina. You're so crazy. You're so crazy. Dabo hired them to recruit. That's a problem. That's the thing about recruiting. You have to recruit, but you also have to be able to coach that position well. And that's where we're seeing a lot of problems. Let's get back to some more scores here. LSU did beat Auburn. That's the worst beatdown I think Auburn's taken all season. It's crazy. Duke's up 24-3 at this point. North Carolina's about to score again. Good grief. Yep, and they did score again. There's a flag in the back. Let's see who that's against. Is it a holding call? Is that offensive pass interference and eligible? No. Touchdown, North Carolina. Less than 3 minutes left in the third quarter. My God, North Carolina is ripping Miami right now. I mean, I'm telling you, North Carolina. I thought North Carolina was going to fall off a lot because some of the players that they lost last year. The wide receiver was Josh Godwin. Really good wide receiver. They lost another guy. Tez Walker was ruled ineligible until about 5 minutes ago because the NCAA was making sure they were doing their job, whatever that job is. They do remind me of the government. Everything they touch falls apart. And then people are dumb enough to reelect them. Well, that's my team. Oh, my God. Don't get me started politically. I've had people encourage me to start a whole political channel. But, folks, most of you would hate me because I'm not going to put up with it from either side. I'm not going to put up with it with either side. And I'm not one of those guys who they all do a bad job. No, one side does a worse job than the other. But off of that, right now Missouri's up 35-21. Second loss in a row for Kentucky. If you go back and look through the history books and look, stop buying into Kentucky. Stop by. I wish that on these TV shows that's playing in the morning, in the mornings on Saturday morning, who a lot of them, I enjoy parts of them. I don't enjoy all of them. I don't enjoy all of them. Just go ahead and tell you that. But I enjoy some of them, some parts of the show. And I wish there was a way for every time they started to hype up a team, I don't know, like, what's a team who had a 29-point lead over a 1-4 team last night, who they're really known for their academics, but other than a few players and a few seasons here and there, they're really, really terrible, and they should have got blown out. Who was a team who blew it and lost last night? The preseason, we were drowning in them. And you can't say anything against their head coach, because if you say anything against their head coach, minions come out to attack you and say some terrible things to you, call you some awful names. Who is that team? They're on the West Coast. Well, not West Coast, but right there. Who is it? Colorado. Yeah, Colorado. I told you that was going to happen, didn't I? I told you, didn't I? I told you that was going to happen. I wonder, just wonder, if after that loss last night, if he went in there and looked at his players, called them losers, and told them that they should transfer. I'm serious. I mean, that's basically what he did to the guys that was there last year that was only implementing what their coaches told them to do. Remember, players? Yes, players can be disobedient and stuff. But also remember that players, like last week, Miami lost to Georgia Tech. Was that on the players? The proper answer is no. He fumbled the ball and he should have had two hands on it. Did you hear that word, Cristobal? I lost a little respect for Cristobal when he said that, put 2 hands on the ball. Hey, you're the head coach. You're supposed to first make the decision to not put them in that position. Take a knee, run it out. And remember, folks, don't forget this. If you hang your middle finger to the ABCs of football, it gets pretty mad and ends up biting you. Very rarely happens. I always like, Deion Sanders is one of the best football players, one of the best athletes, I think, to ever play sports. But when I started seeing what I saw going on in the preseason, and it got to that point to where you couldn't say anything against, you can't, if you ever find someone who you can't critique, or else people come out of the blue to come in and say a bunch of crap towards you and attack you personally, that doesn't sound like a football coach. That sounds like there are people who's part of a cult. Like you're attacking Jim Jones in Jonestown. I think you need to watch it a little bit. Don't you say that about Jim Jones. He's a good man. He's just charismatic, and you don't think like he does. I had someone tell me that the reason that I was saying what I was saying was because Deion and his sons thinks on a different level than me, and that I need to leave something alone that I don't understand. Folks, I think I'm right. Jeff Laughlin. Great. Stanford pulled out the calculator late, gave Colorado a tutorial. Boom, Jeff, you nailed it. I first of all, kudos on the Dexter thumbnail. What a crazy show. Prime earned the right to run his mouth. Problem being, his team thinks that mean them also. I agree and disagree. If he was still playing football, yes, he's coaching football, and he's got this media storm around him, and he's got he's got this whole thing going on around him, and I knew that the emotionalism, people who live off of emotionalism, if any time I look in my life and I go, where did I make a great mistake? And I've done this. And yes, I'm going here. Anytime I've looked in my life and went, where have I really went wrong? It's when I lived off of emotionalism. Either because I was tired, I was mad, I was in a bad place, I had poor influences, I had whatever. But listen, look, if you really want to fix the problem and you don't want to put a passy in its mouth and then act like you don't know what's happening, you really want to be an adult and take some ownership here. I've had to realize that I made decisions on an emotional basis. And anytime you start seeing these teams come in and they're all emotionally based and they're all on the hype train, it works at first until, listen to me, until someone comes along and they punch you in the mouth and they go, I don't care who you are. It's not an honor for me to play you. I'm serious. I don't care who you are. I'm going to come out and I'm going to play hard. And I don't care that you have bodyguards over here and the ticket prices went up over here. I don't care that you've raided the transfer portal. I don't care that you have this. I don't care that you played 25 years ago in the NFL. I don't care that you've done this. I don't care that you've done that. Listen to me. All I care about is what me and my boys came here today to do. And a lot of those teams who are emotionally based, that's the reason right now Caleb Williams is staring off into the stands at Notre Dame. I'm watching it right now, is because he's staring off into the stands because He's on a team that's heavily emotionally based. That's why Notre Dame is beating the crap out of him. A Notre Dame team that is not great, but they're not bad. They're just okay. So, folks, I knew this was coming with Colorado. And also, some of those comments I deleted because it got really, really personal over a coach you don't even know. You don't even know him. If you interrupted him while he was trying to eat in a restaurant to get his autograph, he'd tell you to get lost. Now that I couldn't blame him for it to a point. You could say it in a nicer way, but man's eating, let him have his time. But my point, there's people who's vicariously living through people they don't even know, and they need to get over it. There's Clemson. I'm saying that to Clemson fans too. Some of you Clemson fans, you vicariously live through Dabo Swinney. You ain't Dabo Swinney. He don't care about you. You're not doing anything going after guys like me and other guys who are being honest about what's going on at Clemson. I love Swinney. I just wish I wish he would get back to doing things like he used to do. Got some great jokes going on here in the comment section. Hey, folks, let me throw this out there to you. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. It's free. It's a great way to support the channel. Also running a little contest. I don't know where we're going to go with this. By the way, let me see. This person got in here. The comment of the evening. Did y'all know Clemson was started on a 70-acre tract of land way back in 1933? Google Clemson 70 to 33 to learn more. You idiot. You idiot. You idiot. Yes, folks, that's a friend of mine putting that in there just to stir the pot. With that said, the Sawmill Shop link is below. We're going to be giving away, I'm going to be giving away 3 or 4 of these. Yes, this is the small copy of this massive one. He made a prototype for me. Eric over at the Sawmill Shop made this for me. He's like, look, I really don't like how blah, blah, blah happened. I was like, man, they're amazing. You could sell them like hotcakes. But he made smaller ones. And I'm going to he and I are going to be giving away 3 or 4 of these via the Sawmill Shop. Go check out the link below. I'm trying to figure out what type of contest I'm going to run for it because I want something where I'm fair to everyone. Try to be fair to everyone. But go check out the Sawmill Shop. The link is below. Also, bring up my sponsor, 4puttcarts.com. They're a cart and beverage service for golf courses as well as golf courses. As well as special events. Sorry, I stumbled over my words there. Well, folks, I forgot to plug up my laptop. In fact, I need to go to bed anyway. I need to go to bed. But I will tell you this, and I'm going to leave it at this unless this cuts off and it ends it for me. I'm glad my Tigers have the week off. And Miami right now is getting shellacked by North Carolina. I don't know how this is going to work out because Clemson, after seeing them play against Wake Forest, I would have thought that after the whole thing went down with Florida State, then beating Syracuse, I thought maybe they're getting to it. Doesn't they need so much? They need a lot of help. I'm just going to put it that way. They're very inconsistent, and I'm pulling for my Tigers either way, folks. Y'all take care of yourself. I'll catch you on the flippity flop. If you get that joke, put it in the comment section. I'll catch you on the flippity flop. Just put the comment below. Subscribe, join the channel, check out my sponsors below the videos, and I will catch y'all maybe tomorrow. As always,